The thing about New York City is that nobody notices one more piece of weird shit floating down the Hudson River. Not until it matters. Not until it's too late. The wooden mask bobbed past garbage barges and dead fish, its jade-green surface catching streetlight like a malignant grin. Pre-Columbian craftsmanship, if anyone had cared to look closely. Loki's final joke on mortality, if anyone believed in Norse gods anymore. But this was a world where gods wore capes and endorsed energy drinks, so ancient relics didn't rate much attention. Until Volt's sensors lit up like a Christmas tree on crack. "Ma'am, we're reading an energy signature off the charts." The technician's voice cracked as he stared at his monitor in Volt Tower's sub-level surveillance center. "It's not Compound V, it's not any isotope we've cataloged, it's... Christ. It's rewriting local physics in a 3-foot radius." Madeline Stillwell leaned over his shoulder, her perfume cutting through the recycled air and desperation. Location: Lower Manhattan, near the docks. He pulled up satellite imagery. Whatever it is, it just washed ashore. Stillwell's smile could have cut glass. "Send a retrieval team, quietly, and get me Ashley. If this is what I think it is, we just found the Seven's next member." She was half right. 3 miles away, in a shithole apartment that smelled like old pizza and broken dreams, Stanley Ipkiss was having the worst month of his life. Again. The bank had rejected his loan. His landlord had threatened eviction. His car had been towed. And the girl from the coffee shop, the one with the smile that made his heart do stupid things, had laughed when he'd finally worked up the courage to ask her out. "Sorry," she'd said, not sounding sorry at all. "I don't date. Guys like you. Guys like him, invisible, forgettable, the human equivalent of elevator music." Stan walked the waterfront because it was free, and because the Hudson at night felt honest in its ugliness. No pretense, no rejection, just water and garbage, and the distant glow of Volt Tower reminding everyone who really ran this city. That's when he saw it. The mask lay half buried in river sludge, its empty eye sockets staring up at the polluted sky. Stan should have kept walking. Should have ignored the way it seemed to pulse with invitation, like it had been waiting specifically for him. Instead, he picked it up. What the hell? The wood was warm despite the cold water, smooth, almost alive. Intricate carvings spiraled across its surface, faces screaming or laughing, hard to tell which. Someone's movie prop, probably. He should have thrown it back. He didn't. Stan tucked the mask under his jacket and headed home, unaware that 17 Vought drones had just lost their target signal. Unaware that in a grimy basement across town, Billy Butcher had intercepted the same energy reading and was already making calls. Unaware that he'd just picked up the one thing in this universe that could make Homelander bleed. The mask whispered promises in a language older than English, older than shame, older than the word no. And for the first time in his miserable, overlooked life, Stanley Ipkiss listened. If you want to see more characters enter different universes, hit that subscribe button and drop the name of a character and the universe you'd want to see them in down in the comments below. This is going to get weird. Back in his apartment, Stan turned the mask over in his hands. The carved face seemed to shift in the lamplight. Now grinning, now snarling, now something in between. His reflection in the bathroom mirror looked tired, defeated. Everything he'd always been. "Fuck it," he muttered and put the mask on. The transformation wasn't gentle. His body convulsed, bones cracking and reforming with sounds like gunshots. His skin rippled green, bright as a traffic light, smooth as cartoon animation. His teeth multiplied into a piano-key nightmare grin. His eyes bulged impossibly large, pupils spinning like slot machine reels. The suit, Jesus Christ, the suit materialized from nowhere, yellow and loud and utterly impossible. Stan's personality shattered like dropped china, and something else rushed in to fill the vacuum. Something that had been compressed and denied and beaten down for 32 years of disappointments. Smokin'. The voice that erupted from his throat was his and wasn't, pitched higher, manic with unleashed ID. The mask, because Stan was gone now, just the mask, spun in place, arms windmilling. Oh baby, oh baby, oh baby, now this is what I call a makeover. He tested his new body with the unself-conscious joy of a child with a new toy. Stretched his arm across the room, it extended like taffy, fingers waggling. Jumped and hit the ceiling, leaving a mask-shaped crater in the plaster. Pulled a comically oversized mallet from behind his back, from a space that absolutely did not exist. Where have you been all my life, gorgeous? The mask addressed his reflection, which winked back. We are gonna have so much fun. Outside, the city hummed with its usual violence, sirens, screams, the distant sonic boom of Homelander making his rounds. Vaught's neon logo blazed across the skyline like a corporate middle finger. The mask's grin somehow widened. Hey, Vought, he called to the uncaring night. Guess who just became your worst nightmare? This guy. He jabbed both thumbs at his chest. Time to show this town what real entertainment looks like. He dove through the window in an explosion of glass and laughter, leaving behind an apartment that looked like a tornado had argued with a cartoon and lost. 17 stories below, he hit the pavement with a sound like a cartoon anvil, creating a mask-shaped crater. Pedestrians scattered. A car alarm wailed. The mask popped up like a jack-in-the-box, completely unharmed, dusting off his yellow suit. I'm okay. Nothing broken except the laws of physics. He noticed the terrified bystanders. What? Never seen a talking traffic light before? A Vought patrol car screeched around the corner, lights blazing. 2 officers emerged, hands on weapons. Freeze! Unauthorized super activity. The mask's eyes became beating hearts. Ooh, cops. I love cops. So authoritative. He produced a sign from nowhere that read, "Please don't shoot," with a sad puppy face. I'm just an innocent bystander who happens to have a killer smile. On the ground, now. Well, since you asked so nicely. The mask collapsed into a literal puddle, flowed across the pavement, and reformed behind the officers. Boo! They spun, firing. The bullets passed through him like he was made of smoke, each one accompanied by a cartoon ricochet sound. The mask examined the holes in his chest with exaggerated concern. Rude. Do you know how much dry cleaning costs for cartoon physics? He pulled the holes wider, stuck his head through his own torso. See? In one side, out the other. Maybe next time try asking for my autograph, one officer radioed frantically. We need backup. We've got a Class A reality manipulator at... The mask plucked the radio from his hand, spoke into it with a perfect impression of the officer's voice. Belay that. Situation under control. Subject is extremely handsome and should be given the key to the city. He switched to a woman's voice. Oh, officer, you're so brave. Back to his voice. Why, thank you, mysterious lady. He tossed the radio over his shoulder. It exploded like a grenade in a Looney Tunes sketch and sprinted into the night, each step covering an impossible distance, leaving flaming footprints that spelled out, "Catch me if you can." In Vought Tower, every alarm in the building was screaming. Homelander was in the middle of his evening self-affirmation session, staring at his reflection while reciting why he was better than everyone, when Ashley burst into his penthouse without knocking. Suicidal, but apparently urgent. We have a situation. Her tablet shook in her hands. A new soup, unregistered, and he just... He just humiliated 2 vault officers on 17 different social media platforms. Homelander's jaw tightened. What do you mean, humiliated? She turned the tablet. Video footage showed a green-faced thing in a yellow suit treating armed men like props in a comedy routine. Comments were already flooding in. Who is this guy, El Mao? And finally a soup with personality. And worst of all, Homelander could never. The laptop went through the window. Ashley flinched but held her ground, barely. Where is he now? Homelander's voice was calm, too calm. The kind of calm that preceded laser eyes and arterial spray. Unknown. He's not showing up on any of our tracking systems. It's like he doesn't obey normal. Find him. Homelander's smile was a scalpel. And get the 7 ready. We're going to have a public welcoming for our new friend. Ashley nodded and fled. Smart woman. Homelander returned to his reflection, but the affirmations didn't stick anymore. Someone was stealing his spotlight. Someone people were laughing with instead of at. That couldn't stand. The mask had discovered Times Square, and Times Square would never recover. He stood atop a massive digital billboard, his image replicated across a dozen screens, each one showing a different cartoon version of himself. One ate a comically large sandwich. Another played a tiny violin. A third did the can-can with inexplicable showgirls who appeared from nowhere. Ladies and gentlemen, and everyone in between. His voice boomed across the square, amplified by cartoon logic. The mask has entered the building, or the city, or the universe. Point is, your regularly scheduled corporate-sponsored superhero programming is about to get a lot more interesting. Tourist phones were already recording. This was going viral instantly. You've got soups who can fly, boring. Soups who shoot lasers, been done. Soups who can read minds, kinky, but still old news. He produced a cane and top hat from nowhere, began a vaudeville soft shoe. But have you got a soup who can do this? He pulled out a canvas and painted a door on empty air, opened it, stepped through into impossible space, and emerged from a door painted on someone's phone screen 3 blocks away, waving. Or this. He inflated himself like a balloon, floated above the crowd, then deflated with a long, rude noise. Or this. He split into 5 identical masks, each one performing a different dance style: tango, breakdance, ballet, the robot, and something that might have been the Macarena if the Macarena was on bath salts. The crowd was eating it up, laughing, recording, sharing. This wasn't the sanitized, focus-grouped heroism Vought sold. This was chaos. This was genuine. This was fun. That's when the 7 arrived. Homelander descended from the sky like an angry god, cape billowing in wind that smelled like calculated PR. The Deep flanked him from the left, A-Train from the right. Queen Maeve looked bored but present. Black Noir was Black Noir. Starlight, newest member, still had that idealistic gleam, brought up the rear. The mask's 5 copies merged back into one. His grin, impossibly, widened further. Well, well, well. The Justice League called. They want their generic superhero aesthetic back. He pulled out a microphone. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the 7, brought to you by Vought. Accept no substitutes. Terms and conditions apply, not responsible for civilian casualties. Homelander's landing cracked the pavement. Funny guy, real funny. His smile was pageant perfect and completely dead behind the eyes. Why don't you come down here and we can have a conversation about proper superhero registration procedures? Ooh, procedures. My favorite. The mask produced a massive book labeled Bureaucracy for Dummies, who aren't as dummy as they look. He flipped through it at impossible speed. Let's see. Unauthorized super activity. Failure to register, making Homelander feel insecure about his receding hairline. I don't have a receding hairline. Not yet. But give it a few years, all that stress from being America's most expensive disappointments gotta catch up eventually. The crowd's laughter was a physical thing. Phones captured every second. Homelander's jaw muscles worked overtime. Last chance. Come down. Now. Or what? You'll laser eye me? Go ahead. The mask tapped his green forehead. I'm pretty sure I left my give a damn in my other reality-defying pocket dimension. Let me check. He reached into his pocket. His entire arm disappeared up to the shoulder, rummaging around. Nope, just a rubber chicken, a lit stick of dynamite, and your Nielsen ratings. They're pretty low, by the way. He tossed the rubber chicken. It squeaked patriotically. The dynamite he juggled with 2 bowling pins and a live fish. The ratings chart he unrolled like a scroll. It showed Homelander's approval dropping in real time as this video spread. That's when Homelander's eyes went red. Oh shit. Even the mask's cartoon confidence wavered. That's the I'm about to do a war crime face, isn't it? The heat vision lanced out. Not to kill. Homelander was too smart for that with cameras rolling, but to intimidate. To show dominance, to remind this green freak who ran this city. The beams hit the mask square in the chest and did absolutely nothing. The mask looked down at the smoking holes in his suit, which immediately repaired themselves with cartoon logic, then up at Homelander with exaggerated shock. Was that your laser vision? I thought that was supposed to be, like, scary or something. He pulled out a hand mirror, angled it to catch the beams, reflected them back at Homelander. Here, you dropped this. Homelander dodged, barely his own reflected attack. The crowd gasped. This wasn't in the script. This wasn't how it was supposed to go. Heroes dominated. Homelander dominated. That was the natural order. The mask wasn't natural. My turn. He pulled an impossibly large mallet from behind his back, bigger than his entire body, covered in cartoon sound effect words like bonk and wham and cancelled. Batter up, he swung. The mallet hit Homelander like divine judgment. The impact sent America's greatest hero through 3 buildings, across 2 city blocks, and into the Hudson River with a splash that registered on seismographs in New Jersey. The silence in Times Square was absolute. Then the cheering started. Not universal. Plenty of people were horrified, terrified, running. But enough. Enough to matter. Enough to trend. Enough to make Volt's stock price hiccup. The mask took a bow, somehow produced a bouquet of flowers from thin air, tossed them to the crowd. Thank you, thank you. I'll be here all week. Except when I'm not. Which might be never, or always. Time is meaningless when you're this good-looking. A-Train blurred forward, and the mask casually stuck out his foot. The speedster tripped, tumbled, rolled across Times Square in a tangle of limbs and shattered dignity. The Deep tried some kind of sonic attack. The mask pulled out earplugs the size of traffic cones. Black Noir attacked with actual competence. The mask turned into a door. Noir ran through him and crashed into a hot dog cart. Queen Maeve just watched, a small smile playing at her lips. This was the most entertaining thing she'd seen in years. Starlight stepped forward, hands glowing with genuine heroic intention. Please, we don't have to fight. Just come with us. We can figure this out. Oh, sweetheart. The mask's voice softened, just a fraction. Still manic, still impossible, but with a thread of something almost kind. You still believe in heroes, don't you? That's adorable. Really. But this city doesn't need more corporate mascots in capes. He gestured to the crowd, to their phones, to the raw joy and terror on their faces. It needs something real. Even if that real thing is completely, utterly, magnificently fake. He produced a business card from nowhere. It was blank except for a green lipstick kiss, and flicked it to her. Tell your bosses the mask isn't for sale. The mask doesn't do sponsorships. The mask doesn't do photo ops with dying kids to bump approval ratings. His grin turned sharp. The mask just does whatever the mask wants. And right now, the mask wants to get a hot dog. He cartwheeled away, each flip covering a city block, leaving behind chaos, questions, and the beginning of Volt's worst public relations nightmare. In the river, Homelander surfaced, dripping and furious and humiliated in ways his psyche couldn't process. Across the city, in various locations, very different people watched the same footage with very different reactions. Madeline Stillwell saw a PR disaster that could somehow be spun into opportunity. Stan Edgar saw a variable that didn't fit his equations. And Billy Butcher, watching from a grimy bar with the sound muted, smiled his first genuine smile in months. "Well," he said to no one in particular, "this just got interesting." The emergency meeting in Volt Tower happened at 3 a.m. because Crisis didn't respect business hours. Every major player was there. Madeline Stillwell, Stan Edgar himself, which meant it was serious, and the 7- Homelander, who was currently in his penthouse destroying furniture and screaming about disrespect. "Explain to me," Stan Edgar said with the calm of a man who'd weaponized patience, "how a single unregistered soup humiliated our flagship team on 17 million live streams and counting." Silence. Ashley looked like she wanted to crawl into her tablet and die. "He's not a soup." The voice came from a corner where a hunched figure in a lab coat had been reviewing data. Dr. Jonah Vogelbaum, Vought's chief scientist, the man who'd created Homelander in a lab and regretted it every day since. "I've analyzed the footage frame by frame. Whatever he is, Compound V didn't make him." Stan's eyebrow rose a fraction of an inch, his version of shocked. "Elaborate." Vogelbaum pulled up holographic displays. "His biology, when I can even track it, operates on principles that shouldn't exist. Toon physics, cartoon logic. He's not manipulating matter. He's rewriting the rules of reality itself within his immediate vicinity. He pulls objects from literal nowhere, survives impacts that would turn steel to vapor, and the energy signature." He paused. "It's the same reading we detected from that artifact in the river." "The mask." Madeline leaned forward. "He's wearing it in every video. Green face, yellow suit. It's not his skin. It's the artifact bonded to him. Or controlling him," Vogelbaum added darkly. "The psychological profile from those videos shows someone completely uninhibited. No impulse control, no fear response, no self-preservation instinct beyond comedic timing. Whatever that mask does, it strips away human limitations." Stan processed this with the speed of a man who'd built an empire on exploiting superhuman abilities. "So we acquire the mask, study it, replicate it, create controllable versions for our assets. How do you propose we do that?" Queen Maeve spoke up from where she'd been nursing a drink that was definitely not her first. "Your golden boy couldn't touch him. A-Train ran face first into humiliation. That thing made us look like idiots. Because you engaged him on his terms." A new voice entered, Madeline's phone on speaker. The caller ID read consultant. "You tried to intimidate someone for whom intimidation is just another bit. You need to approach this differently." "And you are?" Stan asked. "Someone who's dealt with reality manipulators before. Here's what you're missing. He's not invulnerable in the traditional sense. He's protected by narrative structure. Comedy beats drama. Underdogs beat bullies. The harder you push, the more ridiculous your failure becomes. It's not physics. It's story logic." Madeline smiled. "So we change the story." "Exactly. Make him the aggressor. Make Vought the victim. He humiliated your heroes, spin it as an unprovoked terrorist attack. He's funny, emphasize the property damage, the endangered civilians, the chaos. Turn public opinion then the narrative protects us instead, Stan finished. He stood. Madeline. I want him on every news channel as a threat by morning. Deep fake footage if necessary. Ashley, get me psychologists who specialize in crowd manipulation, and someone find out who's wearing that mask. Already working on it, Ashley said, fingers flying across her tablet. We've got facial recognition running on pre-transformation footage. Should have an ID within the hour. Good. When we find him, we make him an offer he can't refuse. Stan's smile could have frozen blood. And if he refuses anyway, we make sure the world sees him as the monster he's becoming. Miles away, in a condemned subway station that technically didn't exist on any city map, Billy Butcher spread photos across a makeshift table. Huey, Frenchie, and Kimiko gathered around, each bringing their own brand of weariness and violence. Right, Butcher began, his accent thick with cynicism. Everyone's seen the videos of the green twat making Homelander look like a proper dickhead. Everyone's seen them, said. My daughter asked if he was a new superhero. I didn't know what to tell her. He's not one of Vought's, Frenchie said, studying a blown-up screenshot. No marketing, no branding, no corporate polish. He's chaos in a yellow suit. Kimiko signed rapidly. Frenchie translated. She says he moves like he's not real, like animation, because he's not operating under normal rules. Butcher pulled up more footage on a battered laptop. Watch this bit here. Homelander's heat vision should have cut him in half. Instead, it does fuck all. And here, he clicked forward, the mallet. That shouldn't exist, can't exist. But it sends the strongest soup on the planet into the Hudson like a skipping stone. So what do we do? Huey asked, the only one who still sounded uncertain about violence. Try to recruit him. He clearly hates Vought. Don't know if he hates anything, Huey. That's the problem. Butcher lit a cigarette despite MM's glare. He's pure-eyed, unfiltered impulse, which makes him dangerous as fuck, even if he's pointed at our enemies. Or, said carefully, he could be exactly what we need. Someone immune to compound V soups, someone who can actually hurt Homelander. And what if he hurts everyone else too? You've seen the property damage. 3 buildings, 17 cars, a hot dog stand, which, yeah, admittedly funny, but still. He's not controlled. He's not careful. Neither are we, Kimiko signed. Frenchie didn't bother translating. They all understood. Butcher stubbed out his cigarette. All right, we find him before Vought does. We figure out what that mask is and what it does, and we see if the bastard wearing it can be reasoned with, or at least aimed properly. And if he can't, Huey asked, then we do what we always do. Butcher's smile was all teeth and bad intentions. We improvise violently. Stanley Ipkiss woke up in an alley behind a Korean barbecue restaurant with no memory of how he'd gotten there and a hangover that felt like cartoon physics going in reverse. His face was his own again. Normal, forgettable Stanley. The mask lay next to him in a puddle, innocent as carved wood. He grabbed it, shoved it in his jacket, and ran. His apartment was a crime scene. Not officially, but it would be soon. Someone had been here. Searched it. Vought, probably. Or worse. Stan grabbed his go-bag, the one every New Yorker kept for when the city inevitably tried to kill them, and disappeared into the pre-dawn streets. His phone buzzed. 17 missed calls from his bank, 3 from his landlord, 49 from numbers he didn't recognize, and 1 text from an unknown contact. We need to talk about what you're wearing. MB. Stan's hands shook. He knew what the mask did, felt it even now, whispering promises of power, of finally being seen, of never being forgettable again. He should destroy it, throw it in an incinerator, bury it in concrete. Instead, he ran his thumb over the carved surface and felt the temptation like a drug. Just one more time, one more night. Then he'd stop. Nobody ever stopped. Behind him, 3 blocks away, a Vault surveillance drone acquired his heat signature and transmitted coordinates to 17 different interested parties. The hunt had begun. Billy Butcher found Stanley Ipkiss in a diner in Queens at 6 a.m., nursing coffee that tasted like regret and watching the news coverage of his alter ego's rampage. Every channel was running the same story with different spins. Dangerous new soup terrorizes Times Square on Volt News Network. Mystery hero challenges the 7 on independent stations. Green-faced maniac, hero or menace on the fence sitters. Stan looked exactly like his DMV photo. Forgettable face, defeated posture, the kind of guy who apologized for existing. Butcher almost felt sorry for him. Almost. He slid into the booth across from Stan without asking. Morning. Stan jumped like he'd been electrocuted. I don't want any trouble. Too late for that, mate. Butcher flagged down a waitress with the casual confidence of a man who'd threatened God and lived. Coffee. Black. And whatever my friend here wants to calm his nerves. Whiskey in the coffee? Yeah. Whiskey in the coffee. I don't. Who are you? Someone who watched you make Homelander eat shit on live television. Which, by the way, is the most beautiful thing I've seen in 5 years, and I once watched a sunset in Belize while a cartel boss I'd just robbed bled out behind me. Butcher's smile was sharp. Name's Billy Butcher. I kill soups for a living. Well, for justice? Well, mostly for fun. It's complicated. Stan's face went through several expressions, fear, confusion, more fear, before settling on exhausted resignation. You're here to kill me. If I wanted you dead, we'd be having this conversation in hell. No, Stanley. Can I call you Stanley? I'm here because you've got something Vought wants very badly. And in my experience, anything Vought wants that badly is either extremely valuable or extremely dangerous. He leaned forward. Usually both. The coffee arrived. Stan ignored the whiskey suggestion but gripped his mug like a life preserver. The mask. The mask, Butcher confirmed. Where'd you find it? Hudson River. 3 nights ago, I picked it up. I didn't know what it would do. But you do now. Butcher studied him. And you put it on again anyway, after you knew. Why? Stan's laugh was bitter. You know how many times in my life someone's noticed me, really noticed me. Not as an inconvenience or a disappointment or a guy who exists in the background, as someone important, someone who matters. So it's about attention. It's about existing, Stan's voice cracked. Do you know what it's like to be invisible? To have people look through you like you're made of glass? That mask, when I wear it, I'm not invisible. I'm not forgettable. I'm powerful, Butcher finished. Yeah, I know the feeling. Everyone does. That's what makes it dangerous. I'm not hurting anyone, I'm just 3 buildings, Stanley. 17 cars. You damn near drowned Homelander, which, again, beautiful. But the water displacement from his impact flooded a homeless encampment. 6 people hospitalized. Butcher's voice stayed level, but his eyes were chips of ice. Maybe you're not trying to hurt anyone, but when you're wearing that thing, do you even care? Stan opened his mouth, closed it. The truth sat between them like a third person at the table. Thought so. Butcher pulled out his phone, showed Stan footage from last night. The same scenes Stan had been watching on TV, but from street level. Crowds running, children crying, a woman with a bleeding head from falling debris. The mask makes you invincible, makes you funny, makes you everything you've always wanted to be, but it doesn't make you careful. I didn't mean, nobody ever means it. That's the problem with power. Gives you everything except judgment. Butcher pocketed his phone. So here's where we are. Vought wants that mask to study, replicate, and mass produce. They'll make an army of unkillable, unaccountable reality manipulators answering to corporate interests. Can you imagine Homelander with tuned physics backing up his already considerable god complex? Stan's face went pale. Yeah, nightmare fuel in it. So option 1, you give me the mask, we destroy it, and you go back to your invisible life. Option 2, we work together. You use that thing when I need it, under my direction, to take down the supes who actually deserve it. Controlled chaos pointed at deserving targets. Or Vought finds you first. They'll offer you everything, money, fame, a spot on the 7, and when you're properly hooked and dependent, they'll take the mask anyway and dispose of you. If you're lucky, it'll be quick. Butcher's smile had no warmth. They don't do lucky. Stan stared at the carved wood visible through his jacket opening. What if I just run, leave the city, throw the mask away? You won't. Butcher said it with certainty. Because you've tasted it. The power, the respect, the feeling of mattering. That's more addictive than any drug Vaught's cooked up. You'll put it on again. You know it. I know it. Question is whether you're wearing it for yourself or for something that might actually matter. Before Stan could answer, Butcher's phone buzzed. He glanced at it, cursed creatively. We've got company. Vaught's strike team 3 blocks out. Someone tracked you here. How did they? Because you're still thinking like a civilian. Vought owns half the satellites in orbit and most of the surveillance infrastructure in this city. They've probably had eyes on you since you left your apartment. Butcher stood, dropped cash on the table. So what's it gonna be, Stanley? Option 1, 2, or take your chances with the cunts in tactical gear? Stan looked at the mask. At Butcher. At the news footage still playing on the diner TV, showing the mask's grinning face plastered across every screen. At his own reflection in the window, invisible, forgettable Stanley Ipkiss. The decision had already been made. Maybe it was made the moment he picked the mask up from the river. Option 2, he said quietly, but I have conditions. Course you do. Everyone does. Butcher gestured toward the back exit. Tell me while we run. We've got about 90 seconds before this place becomes a war zone. They left through the kitchen. Butcher dropped more cash and a wink for the startled cook, and emerged into an alley just as black SUVs screeched to a halt in front of the diner. Tactical teams poured out, armed with weapons designed to incapacitate supes. Tranquilizers, tasers, containment foam, the works. Your conditions? Butcher asked as they ran. No killing civilians, no letting Vought get the mask. And, Stan hesitated, I want to hurt Homelander. Really hurt him. For everyone he's failed to save, everyone he's let die because it wasn't convenient or profitable or good for his image. Butcher's grin was feral. Stanley, I think this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship. Behind them, the tactical team breached the diner and found empty coffee cups and cold bacon. Their radios crackled with frustrated reports. Target lost. Repeat, target lost. In a surveillance van 3 blocks away, a Vought technician reported to Madeline Stillwell. Ma'am, we had him, but someone warned him, someone who knows our protocols. Madeline's smile was thin. Pull up every camera in a 6-block radius. I want to know who Stanley Ipkiss is talking to, and I want them both found. Today. Across town, in a secure location only the boys knew about. Huey set up a cot in the corner of their hideout, while ran background checks and Frenchie examined the chemical composition of Stan's coffee cup, which Butcher had pocketed during their escape. So, continue 4:18 p.m., said without looking up from his laptop. We're babysitting a reality manipulator with impulse control issues. That's the plan? That's always been the plan, Butcher replied. We just usually do it from a distance with high-powered rifles. This time we're getting creative. Stan sat on the cot, the mask in his lap, feeling its weight. It whispered to him in a language that predated words. Put me on. Be powerful. Be seen. Be everything you've been denied. Kimiko watched him with unreadable eyes. She knew addiction when she saw it. She'd lived it. Her hands moved in sign language. Frenchie translated softly. She says the mask is hungry, and so are you. Be careful which hunger you feed. Stan looked at the carved face, at its empty eyes and eternal grin. What if I can't control it? Then we'll handle it, Butcher said with the casual certainty of a man who'd killed gods before breakfast. One way or another. Stan wasn't sure if that was reassuring or terrifying. Probably both. The abandoned theater in Brooklyn became their base of operations because Frenchie knew a guy who'd died owing him a favor. The velvet seats were rotting, the stage sagged like broken dreams, and the whole place smelled like mold and forgotten ambitions. Perfect for hiding from Vault's satellite surveillance. Stan spent 3 days learning to fight without the mask. Again, commanded, holding training pads while Stan threw punches that wouldn't have intimidated a particularly aggressive house cat. You can't rely on cartoon physics every time. What happens when the mask comes off mid-fight? I die, Stan gasped, arms burning. Exactly. So we make sure you don't. Absorbed another weak punch. Huey. Show him the footwork again. Huey demonstrated the basic stance had drilled into him months ago, back when he'd been even more useless in a fight than Stan currently was. It's not about being strong. It's about not being where the punch lands. Stan tried, failed, tried again. His body was 32 years of desk jobs and disappointment. It didn't want to be a weapon, but the mask did. It sat on a folding chair in the corner, wrapped in cloth like they could contain it. Stan felt its pull even from across the room, the promise of never being weak again, never being afraid, never being Stanley. Focus, snapped, pulling Stan's attention back. The mask makes you powerful. Training keeps you alive. You need both. Meanwhile, Butcher and Frenchie worked on intelligence gathering, Vaught's movements, patrol patterns, security protocols. They'd identified 3 potential targets where the mask could do real damage to Vaught's infrastructure without collateral casualties. This facility in Jersey, Frenchie pointed to blueprints spread across a table that had probably hosted community theater auditions once. Compound V production, secondary site, less security than their primary labs. We destroy this. We cut their supply by 30%. And make every soup in the city go through withdrawal, Butcher added with satisfaction. Beautiful chaos. But no civilian casualties, Stan interjected from across the room, still catching his breath. That was the deal. Facilities automated at night. 3 guards, all Vault security, so bastards by definition. We can work around them. Butcher studied Stan. You ready to put the mask on again? Controlled environment this time. Specific objective. In and out. Stan's hands trembled. 3 days without it, and he still felt the absence like phantom limbs. Yeah, I'm ready. He wasn't sure if that was Stanley talking or something deeper, something that had been waiting for permission to be monstrous. Kimiko signed something sharp. She says be careful, Frenchie translated. The mask is not a tool, it is a parasite. It feeds on your inhibitions, your fears, your limits. Each time you put it on, you give it more of yourself. Then I'll take it back when I'm done, Stan said with more confidence than he felt. Butcher clapped him on the shoulder. That's the spirit. Probably bullshit, but I admire the optimism. That night, they loaded into a van that smelled like old takeout and bad decisions. Stan held the mask in his lap, feeling its warmth through the cloth. The whispers were louder now, seductive, inevitable. Remember the plan, MM said as they approached the facility. In through the eastern fence, disable security, plant the charges, out before anyone knows we're there. You're the distraction if things go sideways. And if they don't go sideways, Stan asked, then you just wasted a perfectly good mask, Butcher grinned. But things always go sideways. It's the universe's favorite direction. They parked 2 blocks out. Huey and Frenchie moved first. Huey had gotten better at sneaking. Frenchie had always been excellent at controlled demolition. MM covered their approach with a rifle that looked like it could punch holes in light armor. Butcher stayed with Stan. All right. You feel it getting away from you. You taking orders from the mask instead of giving them. You signal me. Blink twice in Morse code. Do a little dance. Spell help in alphabet soup. I don't care. But you signal. What'll you do? Butcher patted a syringe in his tactical vest. Tranquilizer strong enough to drop Kimiko. Probably won't work on you while masked, but I'm an optimist. His smile was all edges. Or I'll just shoot you. Dealer's choice. Comforting. I'm not here to comfort you, Stanley. I'm here to make sure you don't become what we're fighting against. Butcher's radio crackled. Frenchie's voice. We are inside. Security is mad. More guards than expected. How many more? Butcher asked. 12. And they are not regular security. They move like soldiers. Professional. Fuck. Butcher looked at Stan. Guess you're up. Try not to kill anyone. Try very hard. Stan unwrapped the mask. It seemed to glow in the darkness, though that was probably his imagination. Probably. He put it on. The transformation was faster this time. His body knew what to do now, bones and flesh reshaping with sounds like tearing canvas and manic laughter. The green spread across his skin like spilled paint. The yellow suit materialized from nowhere and everywhere. The grin carved itself across his face. Too wide, too many teeth, too much joy. Stanley Ipkiss drowned in the flood of uninhibited id, and the mask rose to the surface like a cartoon phoenix. Sass smokin', his voice carried across the industrial park. The mask is back, baby. Did you miss me? Because I missed me. Let's go. He cartwheeled over the fence, each flip covering 30 feet, and landed in the security spotlight with arms spread wide. Ladies and gentlemen, I've arrived. Please hold your applause until after the violence. Alarm shrieked. Tactical teams emerged from the facility, weapons trained. These weren't mall cops. These were professional killers with vault paychecks and instructions to bring in the mask alive, or at least mostly intact for study. Ooh, tactical gear, how very intimidating. The mask produced a director's chair and popcorn from nowhere, sat down. But I've seen this movie before, and spoiler alert, you're all red shirts. You know what happens to red shirts? He pulled out a remote control, pressed a button labeled Hilarity. Nothing visible happened, but 6 guards suddenly found their weapons transformed into rubber chickens. They squeezed the triggers. The chickens squeaked patriotically. See? Red shirts. The mask threw popcorn at them. The remaining guards opened fire. Real bullets, real guns, real intent to maim. The mask danced through the gunfire like it was choreographed, each bullet missing by cartoon inches. He pulled a giant magnet from behind his back, bigger than a refrigerator, covered in warning labels written in gibberish, and activated it. The guards' weapons ripped from their hands, along with belt buckles, zippers, and one guy's dental fillings. They flew toward the magnet and stuck like refrigerator poetry. "Magnetic personalities," the mask cackled. "Get it? Because magnets and personality. I'm wasted on you people." Inside the facility, Frenchie and Huey moved fast, planting charges on the Compound V storage tanks. But something was wrong. The guards had been ready, positioned, like they'd known someone was coming. "This is a trap," Huey whispered. The question is, trap for who?" Outside, the mask was juggling unconscious guards. He'd knocked them out with a comically oversized fly swatter that appeared from nowhere when the real problem arrived. Queen Maeve landed in the courtyard with enough force to crater concrete. She wasn't in her usual costume. This was tactical armor, all business, no cameras. Her sword was drawn. "Oh shit," the mask said, dropping the guards. "The tough one." "Vought wants you alive," Maeve said, voice flat. "I want to know if you can actually be hurt." "Let's find out." She moved with the speed of someone who'd been fighting gods before. The mask was a punchline. Her sword whistled through the air, aimed not to kill, but to test, to probe, to find a weakness. The mask dodged, but barely. "Whoa! Let's talk about this. I'm sure we can reach some kind of—" Maeve's punch caught him in the ribs. He flew backward through a wall, cartoon sound effects trailing behind him. He emerged from the rubble, still grinning, but something in his eyes had shifted. This wasn't funny anymore. This was a fight. "Okay," the mask said, pulling out twin mallets that crackled with impossible energy. "You want to dance? Let's dance." They collided in the center of the courtyard, and for the first time since putting on the mask, Stan felt something he hadn't expected. Fear. The fight between Queen Maeve and the mask was beautiful in the way natural disasters are beautiful, terrible and awesome and completely beyond human scale. She fought with the precision of thousands of training hours and genuine superhuman strength. He fought with the logic of a fever dream and physics that shouldn't exist. Maeve's sword came down. The mask pulled out an umbrella. Somehow it blocked the blade with a cartoon bowing sound. She kicked. He turned into a door. Her foot went through him. She stumbled. He reformed behind her with a comedically large boot and kicked her through 3 walls. But she got up. Always got up. That was what made her dangerous. Compound V soups healed fast, and Maeve was one of the toughest. Inside Stan's head, or what passed for it while masked, something was changing. The fear was real. The pain from her hits was real. The mask made him rubber and invincible, but Maeve's strength was born from chemicals that rewrote biology at the molecular level. Different rules, different game. "Why are you even doing this?" the mask asked, dodging another sword strike. His voice carried less manic energy now. "Vought treats you like an action figure. They script your dialogue, control your image, probably tell you when you're allowed to shit. Why fight for them?" Maeve's laugh was bitter. "I'm not fighting for them. I'm fighting because if Vought gets that mask, they'll make something worse than Homelander. And unlike you, I actually have to live in this world after the joke's over." She grabbed him mid-dodge, superhuman speed meeting cartoon physics, and slammed him into the ground hard enough to leave a crater. The mask gasped. Actually gasped. The impact hurt. "See?" Maeve pinned him, sword at his throat. "You're not invincible. You're just hard to hit. But I'm good at hitting." For a moment, just a flash, Stan's real face showed through the green. His real terror. His real understanding that maybe this power had limits after all. Then explosions ripped through the facility. Frenchie's charges detonated in sequence, a beautiful cascade of controlled destruction. The Compound V storage tanks ruptured, blue liquid spraying everywhere, alarms screaming, secondary fires igniting. The entire facility was coming down. Maeve's grip loosened, instinct to save lives kicking in despite everything, and the mask exploited the opening. He pulled a giant spring from nowhere, bounced free, grabbed Maeve's cape, and yanked. She spun like a top. Disoriented long enough for him to run. "Sorry, sweetheart. First date went great, but I've got commitment issues." He sprinted toward the fence where Butcher was signaling frantically. "Move your green arse," Butcher shouted. The mask ran, but Maeve recovered fast. She launched herself like a missile. Kimiko appeared from nowhere and hit her mid-flight with a tackle that would have impressed NFL scouts. They tumbled across the courtyard in a tangle of superhuman limbs and violence. Kimiko's feral snarl matched Maeve's frustrated roar. The boys were pulling back, mission accomplished, facility burning. The mask vaulted the fence, landed next to the van. Huey had the door open, engine running. Frenchie was already inside, counting detonators like prayer beads. provided covering fire for Kimiko. "Get in!" Huey screamed. The mask dove through the door. Kimiko broke free from Maeve, left her with 3 broken ribs and a concussion for her trouble, and sprinted for the van with inhuman speed. She leaped. Caught her arm, hauled her inside. They peeled out as the facility's main building collapsed in on itself, flames reaching for the sky like angry fingers. Sirens wailed in the distance. More vault reinforcements coming. Too late. The mask sprawled in the back of the van, breathing hard, cartoon lungs pumping in a chest that shouldn't need oxygen but somehow did. The fear lingered. The realization that he could be hurt, could maybe even be killed if someone was strong enough, fast enough, committed enough. "Get it off," Butcher said. "Now." But now, Stanley, before it decides it likes being scared and does something stupid to feel powerful again. Stan reached up with trembling hands and pulled the mask free. The transformation reversed, green fading, body shrinking, the yellow suit dissolving into nothing. He was Stanley Ipkiss again, small, weak, forgettable, terrified. "She hurt me," he whispered. "The mask, it's supposed to make me invincible, but she hurt me." "Nothing's invincible," said from the driver's seat, eyes on the road and rearview mirror. "Not Homelander, not Vault, and sure as hell not a magic mask from the Hudson River. You can be killed, Stan. Remember that before you start thinking you're a god." Stan clutched the mask like a security blanket. It had betrayed him, showed him limits. But the whispers were already starting again, explaining away the defeat. Maeve got lucky. "You weren't prepared. Next time will be different. Next time you'll be stronger." The addiction talking. Stan knew it. "Didn't care? Did we get it?" he asked. "The compound Vi." "Facilities slag," Frenchie confirmed, practically glowing with professional satisfaction. 30% of their production capacity gone. They will feel this. Many soups will feel this. "And we made a point," Butcher added. "The mask attacked a Volt facility, destroyed their product. Now they're not just hunting you, they're terrified of you. Fear makes people stupid. Stupid makes them vulnerable. But Queen Maeve will heal, will report, will tell them you can be hurt." Butcher's smile was sharp. "Which means they'll come at you harder next time, better armed, better prepared. Which is exactly what we want." "How is that what we want?" Huey asked, the question they were all thinking. "Because when they focus on the mask, they're not watching for us. The real threat isn't the green twat in the yellow suit. No offense, Stanley. It's the people using him as a distraction while we dismantle Volt, piece by piece." Butcher lit a cigarette. "The mask is the show. We're the stagehands moving the scenery, and nobody watches the stagehands." Stan looked at the mask in his hands, at these people who'd recruited him, trained him, used him. He should feel manipulated, should feel angry. Instead, he felt something close to purpose. For the first time since putting on the mask, he wasn't chasing power for its own sake. He was pointing that power at something that deserved it. Maybe that was enough. Maybe that was all anyone could hope for. In Vote Tower, Madeline Stillwell watched footage of the facility burning and calculated losses. 30% production, 17 million in equipment, 6 months to rebuild. The stock price would take a hit. Shareholders would demand answers. But more importantly, the mask could be hurt. Queen Maeve had proven it, which meant he could be captured, studied, replicated. She made a call. Activate Protocol 7. I want every asset focused on acquiring the mask, and someone get me Dr. Vogelbaum. It's time we explored more experimental options. Across town, in his penthouse, Homelander watched the same footage with very different eyes. He saw Queen Maeve landing hits that he couldn't, saw the mask running instead of fighting, saw weakness where there'd only been invincibility before. His reflection smiled back from the mirror. The green freak had humiliated him once. Just once. That was one too many times. He would make this right. Make it permanent. Make it hurt. And when he was done, everyone would remember who the real hero was. The thing about crossing Vought was that Vought crossed back. With interest. Over the next week, the mask hit 3 more facilities, always at night, always with the boys coordinating, always leaving destruction and confusion in his wake. A pharmaceutical warehouse in Queens where they manufactured performance enhancers for B-list soups. A media complex in Manhattan where Vought edited footage to make their heroes look better and their victims look complicit. A private prison in Jersey where they kept problematic soups sedated and forgotten. Each time the mask got better at controlled chaos. Each time Stan held onto himself a little longer before the mask's personality swallowed him completely. Each time he pulled it off a little faster when the job was done. Each time the whispers got harder to ignore. "You're getting good at this," MM said after the prison break. They'd freed 17 soups who'd been disappeared by Vought. Some were grateful, some were terrified, all were damaged. Maybe too good. Stan was cleaning the mask with a cloth, gentle as handling a baby. "What's that supposed to mean?" "Means you're spending more time green than human lately. Means you volunteered for the last 2 jobs before we even had full intel. Means you sleep with that thing next to your pillow like it's a teddy bear." MM's voice was careful, but firm. "You're getting attached. I'm using a tool to fight people who need fighting. Tools don't whisper to you at night, Stan. Tools don't make you smile when you talk about putting them on. Tools don't make you forget who you were before you found them." Stan's hands stilled. "I know what I'm doing. That's what everyone says, right before they don't." But the missions continued because Vought kept giving them targets, and the mask kept being effective. Huey called it their controlled demolition phase. Frenchie called it beautiful chaos. Kimiko didn't call it anything, just watched Stan with eyes that had seen addiction from both sides. Butcher called it buying time until the real plan kicks in. He didn't share what the real plan was. Meanwhile, Vaught's response escalated. They couldn't catch the mask. He was too unpredictable, too mobile, too protected by narrative logic that said underdogs win against corporate giants. But they could make him a villain. The media blitz was surgical, footage of destroyed buildings. Interviews with traumatized witnesses who'd seen the mask's rampage. Never mind that the buildings were Vought facilities and the witnesses were paid actors. Expert panels discussing dangerous unregistered soupies and domestic terrorism and the need for stronger corporate security measures. Within 10 days, public opinion had shifted from "that green guy is hilarious" to "that green guy might be dangerous" to "that green guy is definitely a threat." The seven did interviews. Homelander, recovered from his humiliation and media trained back to perfection, spoke with fake concern about bringing this troubled individual in for help before someone gets seriously hurt. Queen Maeve, ribs healed, gave a more honest assessment. He's powerful, unpredictable, and not following any rules. That makes him dangerous to everyone, including himself. Even Starlight, still naive enough to believe in superhero ideals, pleaded on camera. "Please, whoever you are under that mask, turn yourself in. We can help you." They couldn't, but it played well to the focus groups. "They're boxing you in," Butcher explained in their hideout, now relocated to an abandoned subway station after the theater got compromised. Classic Vought playbook. Can't catch you physically, so they catch you narratively. Make you the villain, make themselves the victims, and suddenly that cartoon logic that protects you starts working in reverse. "So what do we do?" Stan asked. "We change the narrative again, but this time..." Butcher pulled out a laptop, showed them surveillance footage they'd hacked from Vaught's servers. "This time we go after the symbol. The center. The face of everything they've built." The footage showed Homelander in his penthouse, alone, vulnerable. "You want me to fight Homelander?" Stan said flatly. "The strongest soup in the world. I want you to humiliate him, again, on his home turf, with cameras rolling and the whole world watching." Butcher's smile was predatory. Vaught's entire empire is built on the idea that Homelander is invincible, unbeatable, the perfect hero. We proved once he's not. Let's prove it definitively. He'll kill me. Maybe. Probably not, though. Your cartoon logic says villains can't win, and right now they've made you the villain. So we flip the script again. Make Homelander the bully, make you the underdog standing up to power, and let narrative physics do the rest. "That's insane," Huey said. "Even for us. That's insane. All our best plans are insane. It's tradition." Shook his head. "You're gonna get Stan killed, and probably the rest of us." "Then don't come," Butcher said simply. "I'll do it myself." But the mask goes after Homelander. Tomorrow night, during his scheduled patrol over Manhattan. Prime time, maximum visibility. Stan looked at the mask. It looked back with empty eyes that somehow seemed eager, excited. This was what it had been waiting for, not small targets, not distractions, but the main event, the biggest, baddest enemy available, a chance to prove it was more powerful than a god. "I'll do it," Stan heard himself say, "but not alone. I need backup." "You'll have it," Kimiko signed. Frenchie translated, though everyone understood. She tapped her chest. She'd come. She'd fight. "Fuck it," sighed. "We're all gonna die eventually. Might as well be doing something monumentally stupid." Huey just looked terrified, which was his natural state. "If we survive this, I'm asking Annie out. Properly. Life's too short." "Life's always too short when you work with me," Butcher said cheerfully. "Right. Tomorrow night. We break into Vought Tower, steal their broadcast equipment, and hijack every screen in New York to show the world what their hero really is." He looked at Stan. "You up for this?" "Really?" Stan held the mask, felt its warmth, its hunger, its promise that he could win, could triumph, could finally be the hero of his own story instead of background noise in someone else's. "Yeah," he said. "I'm up for it." Liar. He was terrified, but terror didn't matter anymore. The mask would swallow it, transform it, turn it into manic confidence and cartoon invincibility. That's what he told himself. That's what the mask wanted him to believe. In Vought Tower, in his penthouse overlooking the city he pretended to protect, Homelander heard about the plan before they even finalized it. Vought had moles everywhere, had surveillance on everything, had prepared for exactly this moment. He smiled at his reflection, practiced the expression, the determined hero, the reluctant warrior, the symbol of American strength facing down chaos. "Come on, green freak," he whispered to the city lights. "Come face a real god. Let's see how funny you are when I'm ripping that mask off your corpse." He didn't sleep that night. Too excited, like Christmas morning for a child raised in a lab and taught that love was measurable through ratings and merchandise sales. Tomorrow he would remind everyone why he was Homelander. Tomorrow the mask would learn what it meant to challenge the unkillable. Tomorrow one of them would break. The plan was simple in the way that all terrible plans are simple. Break into Vault Tower, hijack their broadcast systems, force Homelander into a public confrontation he couldn't ignore or control, and hope cartoon physics trumped compound V biology before someone died. When this goes wrong, and it will go wrong, MM checked his rifle for the 17th time. Everyone scatter to the rally points. Don't be a hero. Don't look back. Just run. Inspiring speech, Huey muttered, triple-checking the hacking equipment Frenchie had stolen from an NSA contractor. Really gets the blood pumping. They were in a stolen van 2 blocks from Vote Tower at 9 p.m. on a Wednesday. Prime-time television, maximum viewers, the exact moment when Homelander did his scheduled patrol for the cameras. Everything Vought did was scheduled. That was their weakness, predictability masquerading as reliability. Stan held the mask in his lap, but he hadn't put it on yet. Wanted to hold on to himself as long as possible. Remember why he was doing this. Not for the power, not for the attention, for the people Homelander had failed, the ones he'd let die because saving them wouldn't look good on camera. The ones Vought had buried in paperwork and NDAs and shallow graves. "You don't have to do this," Huey said quietly. "We could find another way." "There is no other way. Butcher's right. Homelander is the symbol. Break him. Break Vaught's hold on the public. Let him stand and nothing changes." Stan turned the mask over. "Besides, I'm the only one who can survive long enough to make this work. Survive isn't the same as win. Close enough." Butcher ended the planning call on his encrypted phone. "Right. Security rotation changes in 5 minutes. That's our window. Kimiko and I go in first, clear a path to the broadcast center. MM covers our exit. Frenchie handles the actual hijacking. Huey, you're with Frenchie. Protect him while he works." He looked at Stan. "You wait for my signal. When Homelander's in position and we're broadcasting, you put on the mask and give everyone a show they'll never forget. And if he kills me, then you die on every screen in New York. Martyr's death. Very moving. We'll use the footage to destroy Vaught's reputation." Butcher's smile had no warmth. "But try not to die. Paperwork's a nightmare." They moved. Kimiko went first, silent as death, taking out cameras with throwing knives that shouldn't have been able to cut through armored casings, but did anyway. Her power worked differently than Compound V soups, borrowed from something older and angrier. Butcher followed with practiced efficiency, using non-lethal takedowns on security guards who were just working a job and didn't deserve to die for Vaught's sins. MM set up position on a rooftop across the street, rifle scope tracking anyone who looked like reinforcements. Frenchie and Huey made it to the broadcast center, 32nd floor, northwest corner, protected by security that folded like wet paper when Kimiko smiled at them with too many teeth. Stan waited in the van, mask in hand, counting heartbeats. This was it. The moment where Stanley Ipkiss either became something more or died trying. Either option was better than invisible. Butcher's voice crackled through the radio. "We're in. Frenchie's got control, hijacking every Vought-owned network in 3, 2, 1. Across New York, across America, across every screen showing Vought programming." The image cut to black, then to Butcher's face, grinning like a shark. "Good evening, America. My name's Billy Butcher, and I'd like to talk to you about heroes. Real ones, not the corporate-sponsored murderers Vaught's been selling you for decades." He gestured off-camera. "Behind me is evidence, hard proof of every lie, every cover-up, every victim Vought has buried to protect their brand. You're gonna see all of it. But first," he stepped aside. The camera showed the tower's exterior, showed Homelander hovering outside, eyes already glowing red with rage at having his patrol interrupted. "First, we'd like to introduce someone special, someone who's shown us that power without accountability is tyranny. Someone who's reminded us that symbols can be broken." Butcher smiled. "Come on out, Mask. Let's have a chat with the hero." That was Stan's cue. He put on the mask. The transformation felt different this time, faster, smoother, like his body had been waiting, had been practicing, had been ready to discard Stan completely and embrace what came after. The green spread like wildfire. The yellow suit materialized with cartoon fanfare. The grin carved itself across his face with surgical precision. But underneath, beneath the manic energy and impossible physics, Stan still remembered, still held on, still knew this wasn't about him. This was about showing the world who Homelander really was. The mask kicked open the van door with a sound like a game show buzzer. "Ladies and gentlemen," his voice carried across the city, amplified by cartoon logic and narrative necessity. "The mask has entered the building. Well, the street outside the building. Technically not trespassing. My lawyers are very pleased." He looked up at Homelander, hovering in the spotlight like an angry god. Cameras from every news helicopter in the city focused on them. This was going out live. No edits, no spin, just raw confrontation. "Hey there, stars and stripes." The mask waved with exaggerated enthusiasm. "Love what you've done with the whole threatening to murder people with your eye lasers thing. Very heroic. Really inspires confidence. Makes children feel safe." Homelander's smile was poisonous. "You made a mistake coming here. I make lots of mistakes. It's part of my charm. But you know what's not charming? Flying past burning buildings because the optics weren't good enough. Letting people die because saving them wouldn't trend. Being a corporate mascot with a god complex and the emotional range of a particularly angry toddler." The mask's grin never wavered. "So here's what's gonna happen. You and me, right here, right now, in front of everyone. Let's see if America's greatest hero can beat a guy in a mask. You want to fight me?" Homelander descended slowly, boots touching pavement, cape settling around him like a shroud. "I've killed things you couldn't imagine. I'm the strongest man alive. I'm a god." "Gods bleed," the mask said. And for just a moment, just a flash, his voice was Stanley's, human, afraid, determined. "Let's prove it." Homelander's eyes went red. The fight began, and the world watched. The heat vision came first, twin beams of superheated energy that could melt steel, vaporize bone, burn through anything biological. They hit the mask's center mass with the force of concentrated stars. The mask looked down at the smoking holes in his yellow suit. Looked up at Homelander, pulled out a thermometer from nowhere. The mercury exploded out the top with a cartoon whistle. "Wow, that's hot. Like, objectively hot. Not you look good tonight hot, but I can feel my atoms rearranging hot." He patted out the smoldering fabric. "Got anything stronger? Because I've had spicier Thai food." Homelander's smile cracked. He moved, superhuman speed, meeting physics defying agility. His punch could crater concrete, rupture organs, kill instantly. It caught the mask in the jaw with a sound like a sledgehammer hitting a rubber tire. The mask's head spun completely around, one rotation, two, three, before snapping back into place. Ooh, I'm dizzy. Is this what sobriety feels like? I don't like it. He pulled out a giant mallet covered in stars and stripes. My turn. The mallet swung. Homelander caught it, his first mistake. The impact drove him 6 inches into the pavement, cracks spiderwebbing across the street. The crowd that hadn't fled gasped. Cameras captured everything. This was being broadcast on every hijacked screen in the country. How does it feel? The mask asked, voice still manic but carrying an edge now. Stan's edge. To not be invincible, to have someone hit back. Must be weird for you. Usually you're the one doing the hitting. Homelander snarled. Threw the mallet aside, it flew 3 blocks and demolished a hot dog stand with perfect comedic timing, and grabbed the mask by the throat. Lifted him off the ground, squeezed hard enough to crush titanium. The mask's eyes bulged comically. His tongue lolled out. He made exaggerated choking sounds. Then he pulled out a sign that read, "Help, I'm being oppressed," and bit Homelander's hand. Cartoon teeth somehow pierced invulnerable skin. Homelander screamed, actual pain, actual shock, and dropped him. The mask landed, did a theatrical bow while Homelander stared at his bleeding hand like it was speaking ancient Greek. You bit me." "Yeah, turns out invulnerable doesn't mean squat when you're fighting cartoon physics. Who knew?" The mask pulled out a referee's whistle. Round 1, the mask. Round 2, about to get really interesting. Homelander's control shattered. The mask of heroism, the careful PR training, the calculated responses, gone. What remained was rage, pure, unfiltered, dangerous rage. He flew at the mask like a missile, fists blurring, no longer fighting like a hero, but like what he really was. A weapon raised in a lab to destroy anything that threatened Vought's profits. The mask dodged, barely. A punch grazed his shoulder and sent him spinning like a top. Another caught his ribs with force that would have liquefied human organs. A third hit his face and actually hurt, deep beneath the cartoon invulnerability, where Stan still existed and still felt fear. "Okay," the mask gasped, backing up. "Okay, you're mad, I get it. Performance anxiety happens to everyone. There's pills for that." Homelander grabbed him mid-sentence and flew straight up. The ground dropped away, 50 feet, 100 feet, 200. The city became a grid of lights and tiny people. The cameras tracked them with telephoto lenses. "You wanted everyone to watch?" Homelander's voice was glacial. "Let them watch you fall." He let go. The mask plummeted, wind screaming past, ground rushing up with terminal velocity and certain death. For a moment, just a heartbeat, Stan was in control again. Terrified, mortal, completely aware he was about to die. Then the mask reasserted itself with manic glee. "Falling with style," the mask yelled, pulling out a parasol covered in cartoon flowers. It shouldn't have worked as a parachute. Physics said it was impossible, but cartoon logic said if it's funny, it's functional. He drifted down gently, landed with a curtsy. Homelander followed like a meteor, fist aimed at the mask's skull with intent to liquefy. The mask pulled the oldest trick in the book, held up a mirror. Homelander saw his own reflection, saw himself as he really was, twisted with rage, all pretense of heroism gone, just a bully with powers and permission, and hesitated, just for a second, just long enough. The mask threw the mirror aside and pulled out something new, a remote control labeled plot device. He pressed the big red button. Across the city, every screen hijacked by the boys stopped showing the fight and started showing evidence. Real evidence. Footage Butcher had spent years collecting. Homelander killing civilians. Vought covering up massacres. The Seven committing atrocities and calling it justice. All of it. Unedited, undeniable, impossible to spin. The world was watching. The world was seeing. The truth was out. Homelander heard the gasps from the crowd, saw people pointing not at the mask but at the screens, saw his carefully constructed image crumbling in real time. His approval rating, the only thing he truly cared about, dropping with every second of footage. No. His voice was small, broken. No, that's not. I'm a hero. I'm the hero. They love me. They loved a lie, the mask said, and for a moment his voice was completely Stanley's. Human. Sad. They loved what Vought told them you were, not what you actually are. Something in Homelander fractured. The child raised in a lab, told he was special, given power but never love, taught that ratings equaled worth. That child screamed. And the weapon Vought had made from that child decided to burn everything down. His eyes went red. Not just his eyes, his whole face, suffused with barely contained energy. Heat vision cranked beyond safety limits, beyond sanity. Hot enough to glass sand, hot enough to boil steel, hot enough to kill everyone in a 3-block radius. If I can't be their hero, Homelander whispered, then I'll be their nightmare. The beams erupted, not aimed at the mask, but at the crowd, at the cameras, at witnesses, at anyone who'd seen the truth and lived to tell it. The mask moved without thinking, pulled from nowhere a shield the size of a billboard, covered in cartoon drawings of happy children, planted it between Homelander's rage and innocent people. The heat vision hit the shield and stopped, couldn't penetrate something created to protect childlike joy. No, the mask said. Stan said. The thing they'd become together said. You don't get to hurt them. Not tonight. Not ever again. He dropped the shield and pulled out his final trick. A pie. Cream. Cartoon perfect. Impossibly large. He wound up like a baseball pitcher. This is for everyone you failed, he said, and threw. The pie hit Homelander's face with a splat heard around the world, cream everywhere, dignity shattered. The strongest man alive, America's greatest hero, reduced to a joke covered in dessert on live television. The laughter started small, one person, then another, then a wave of it, spreading through the crowd, through viewers at home, through everyone who'd ever been told Homelander was untouchable. He wasn't untouchable. He was a bully, a murderer, a fraud, and now everyone knew. Homelander wiped cream from his eyes, looked at the mask, at the cameras, at the laughing crowd. Something in his expression died. The child who'd wanted love, the hero who'd never existed, all of it gone. What remained was a monster who'd finally been seen. This isn't over, he whispered. Yeah, the mask replied. It really is. Homelander flew away, not in heroic triumph, but in retreat. The first time in his life he'd run from anything. The cameras caught it all. The world watched their god flee from a guy in a mask. The mask stood alone in the crater-marked street, breathing hard, feeling the mask's grip loosening as the adrenaline faded. He'd done it. Proven Homelander could bleed, could fail, could be beaten. The cost was yet to be calculated. In Vault Tower, Madeline Stillwell watched her empire crumble in real time. Stock prices plummeting, sponsors pulling out, the Seven's image destroyed beyond any PR repair. She made one phone call. Activate contingency Omega. Burn it all. We're starting over. In the hideout, the boys watched the broadcast with mixed emotions. Victory tasted like ashes. They'd won the battle. But wars with Vought didn't end cleanly. "Get Stan out," Butcher ordered. "Now, before Homelander comes back with an army." But the mask wasn't moving. Stan wasn't moving. He stood in the middle of the street, mask in place, feeling its whispers louder than ever. "You're powerful. You're feared. You're finally everything you wanted to be. Why would you ever take this off?" The extraction went wrong because everything always went wrong. MM pulled the van up, door open, Huey screaming, "Get in!" But the mask just stood there, grinning at nothing, listening to voices only he could hear. "Stan!" Butcher jumped out, grabbed his shoulder. "We got to move. Every cop, every Fed, every Vought asset in the city is converging on this position." "Why would I run?" The mask's voice was wrong. Too much mask, not enough Stan. "I just beat their god. I'm invincible. Butcher slapped him, hard. Not a cartoon slap, a real one that actually hurt. The shock broke through. Stan's eyes showed behind the green. "What?" "Take it off." Butcher's voice cut like glass. "That thing's eating you alive, and you're too drunk on power to notice. Take it off, or I take it off, and you won't like my methods." Stan's hands trembled as they reached for the mask. It didn't want to come off. For the first time, it actually resisted. The wood seemed fused to his skin, the transformation locked in place. Panic flooded through him, real, human panic. "I can't, it won't." Kimiko appeared beside him. Her hands, gentle despite their capacity for violence, touched the mask's edges. She signed something. Frenchie, arriving breathless, translated, "She says it will let go, but only if you truly want it to. Do you?" Did he? The power was intoxicating. The confidence, the invincibility, the feeling of finally mattering. Stanley Ipkiss had been invisible his whole life. The mask made him seen, made him important, made him real. But it also made him monstrous, made him reckless, made him forget why he'd started this in the first place. "Yeah," Stan whispered. "I want it off." The mask loosened. He pulled, and it came free with a sound like tearing fabric. The transformation reversed, green fading to pale human skin, yellow suit dissolving into ordinary clothes. Stan collapsed, and MM caught him before he hit pavement. "Get him in the van, now." They moved as sirens wailed closer. Helicopters circled overhead, news and Vought both, filming everything. The footage would be analyzed, debated, turned into conspiracy theories and political talking points. But for now, the boys just needed to survive. The van peeled out. Behind them, Vought tactical teams swarmed the area, finding nothing but scorch marks and broken pavement. The mask was gone. The evidence had been broadcast. The damage was done. In the back of the van, Stan clutched the mask like a security blanket, trembling from withdrawal and exhaustion. "What happens now?" "Now?" Butcher lit a cigarette, offered one to Stan, who declined. "Now Vought scrambles to control the narrative. They'll claim deepfakes, conspiracy theories, edited footage. Half the country will believe them because people are stupid and tribalism is a hell of a drug." "But the other half?" Huey asked. "The other half saw the truth. And truth is a virus, spreads slow but can't be killed." Butcher smiled without humor. "We didn't destroy Vought tonight, but we wounded them, made them bleed, showed the world they're not invincible. And Homelander's broken, not dead, not defeated, but broken. And broken soups are the most dangerous kind." Butcher looked at Stan. "Which brings us to you." "Me? You can't keep the mask. You know that, right? Every time you put it on, it takes more of you. Eventually, there won't be a Stanley to take it off. Just the mask, wearing what's left of your corpse like a suit." Stan looked at the carved wood in his hands. The empty eyes stared back, promising nothing and everything. I know. So we destroy it. Tonight. For real this time. Butcher pulled out a thermite charge from a weapons cache. We melt it down, scatter the remains, make sure it can never be used again by anyone. But Stan's protest died in his throat. Because Butcher was right. He knew it, felt it. The addiction whispered that he needed the mask, but the truth was simpler. The mask needed him, needed hosts, needed to corrupt and consume and spread its particular brand of chaos. He'd beaten Homelander, proved that power could be challenged. That was enough. It had to be enough. Okay, Stan said quietly. Destroy it. They drove to an abandoned steel mill in Jersey. Frenchie knew a guy, always knew a guy, and set up in the old foundry. The mask sat on a concrete block, looking innocent and evil simultaneously. Stan stared at it one last time. Any last words? Butcher asked. It gave me power, made me matter, made me real. Stan's voice cracked. But it also made me forget that I was always real. That mattering isn't about being seen. It's about what you do when nobody's watching. He placed the thermite charge. Frenchie checked the wiring. Kimiko handed Stan the detonator with gentle finality. For what it's worth, said, you did good. Not just with the mask, but knowing when to let it go. That takes strength most people don't have. Stan pressed the button. The thermite ignited with white-hot fury, temperatures that could melt through aircraft carriers. The mask burned. Not quietly. It screamed in a language older than words, a death wail that made windows crack and dogs howl 3 blocks away. The wood blackened, cracked, shattered. The ancient magic stored inside released in a pulse that knocked everyone back. Then silence. Where the mask had been, only slag remained. Cooling metal and ash, no magic, no whispers, no promises of power. Just evidence that some things should stay lost. Stan felt its absence like a missing limb. The withdrawal would be brutal. Frenchie had already prepared sedatives and a safe space for him to ride out the psychological crash. But underneath the ache, he felt something else. Relief. He was Stanley Ipkiss again. Forgettable, ordinary, invisible. And that was fine, because some of the best people were invisible. Did good when nobody was watching. Changed the world in small ways that never made headlines. Maybe that was enough. What now? Huey asked the question they were all thinking. Vaught's wounded but not dead. Homelander's humiliated but not finished. We're wanted by every law enforcement agency in the country. What the hell do we do now? Butcher smiled like a shark smelling blood. Now? Now we keep fighting. The old-fashioned way. No magic masks, no reality manipulation. Just us, our skills, and pure spite. That's a terrible plan, said. All our plans are terrible, but we've got something Vought doesn't. We've already won. Not the war, but we showed the world their heroes are frauds. That's enough to start a movement, enough to give people hope that power can be challenged. Hope. Stan laughed bitterly. After everything we've done, that's what this was about. Hope. Hope's the most dangerous weapon in the world, mate. Vaught's spent billions trying to control it, monopolize it, sell it in convenient superhero packages. We just gave it away for free. Butcher stubbed out his cigarette. So yeah, hope and violence, and occasionally blowing shit up. It's a living. They left the foundry as dawn broke over Jersey. 6 exhausted, damaged, stubborn bastards who declared war on gods and somehow lived to tell about it. Behind them, the mask's remains cooled into nothing. In Vault Tower, emergency meetings ran through the night. Damage control, spin doctors, legal teams preparing for lawsuits that would cost billions. The 7 was disbanded, temporarily, they claimed, but everyone knew the truth. The symbol was broken. Homelander sat alone in his penthouse, cream still in his hair, watching his approval ratings crater in real time. The public's love, the only thing that had ever mattered, was gone, replaced by fear, mockery, truth. He would make them pay, all of them, starting with the green freak who'd exposed him. But the mask was gone, destroyed, out of reach, so Homelander would have to settle for the next best thing. The people who'd used him, the boys, Billy Butcher, and especially Stanley Ipkiss, the weak little man who'd wielded power he didn't deserve and lived to brag about it. He smiled at his reflection. Not the heroic smile, not the PR-approved grin. The real smile, the one that preceded screaming and blood and justice of the kind that never made headlines. Soon. Across the city, Stanley Ipkiss tried to sleep in a safe house, surrounded by people who'd become something like friends. The withdrawal was starting. Shakes, sweats, phantom whispers. But he'd survive it. He'd survived everything else. And when he closed his eyes, he didn't dream of green faces and yellow suits. He dreamed of a world where heroes didn't need masks, where power served people instead of corporations, where ordinary people did extraordinary things, not because magic forced them to, but because it was right. Naive dream, impossible dream. But as Butcher said, hope was the most dangerous weapon. And Stan had plenty to spare. The footage from that night lived forever, viral, undeniable, reshaping history. Within a month, Vaught's stock had fallen 60%. 3 senators opened investigations. The 7 officially disbanded. Maeve retired. A-Train fled to Mexico. Starlight went independent. The Deep returned to the ocean and was never seen again. Black Noir simply disappeared. Homelander remained. Vought couldn't afford to lose their most valuable asset, even diminished. But he was contained now, supervised missions, restricted public appearances, handlers watching his every move. The leash they'd always pretended wasn't there became visible, real, tight. He hated them for it, but he hated the mask more. The boys became legends in certain circles, hunted by authorities but protected by public sentiment. Half the country wanted them arrested. Half wanted them given medals. They satisfied neither side by continuing their work, quietly, carefully, taking down corrupt soups one at a time. No more grand gestures, no more masks, just persistence. Stanley Ipkiss returned to his ordinary life, as much as anyone could after wearing magic and fighting gods. The bank still rejected his loans. His landlord still threatened eviction. The girl from the coffee shop still didn't know his name. But Stan was different now. Not powerful, he'd given that up willingly, but grounded, purposeful. He'd learned that being seen wasn't the same as mattering. That power without wisdom was just destruction in a yellow suit. He kept in touch with the boys, helped when he could, how he could. Information gathering, surveillance, the boring parts of fighting evil that nobody made movies about. He was good at being invisible. Turned out that was its own superpower. Sometimes, late at night, he felt the mask's absence like a missing tooth, ran his tongue over the empty space, and remembered what it felt like to be invincible. The temptation never fully died. Addiction rarely does. But he'd learned to live with the wanting without giving in. That was victory enough. In a vault beneath the ruins of the steel mill, protected by 7 layers of concrete and thermite charges set to trigger if disturbed, something stirred in the slag that had once been a mask. Not much. Not yet. But ancient magic was patient. It had waited centuries before. It could wait centuries more. And there were always more Stanleys, more people desperate to be seen, more hosts willing to trade their humanity for power. The mask would return. Maybe not today. Maybe not tomorrow. But chaos, like hope, never truly dies. It just waits for the next punchline, the next victim, the next poor bastard who picks up something that should have stayed lost. The galaxy, this universe, had been warned. Whether it listened remained to be seen. But the mask's legend endured, that even gods could bleed, that power could be challenged, that sometimes the most dangerous thing in the world was an ordinary person who refused to stay ordinary. Stan closed his laptop, finishing the anonymous blog post recounting what really happened that night. The truth, unvarnished and raw. Most people would call it fiction, conspiracy theory, creative writing by someone with too much time. That was fine. The truth didn't need to be believed to be true. He looked out his apartment window at the city, still corrupt, still dangerous, still run by people who saw humans as products and soups as investments. Nothing had fundamentally changed, but everything had shifted. Just a little, just enough. And sometimes that's all you needed to start a revolution. May the Force be with you. More stories await.